The media is supposed to tell the truth, right? Whether it's positive or negative. But now, more than ever before, we are convinced that Western media, including popular news houses, are not trustworthy. They are biased, and whatever they publish as news should not be taken seriously. It seems they love to publish only negative news about Africa. Is it because that is the narrative, or is that what sells more? So, why are we angry about this? You see, just a few days ago, specifically on Friday, June 28, 2024, Burkina Faso hit a significant milestone in its international diplomatic relations. 10 countries presented letters of credence to President Captain Ibrahim Traoré at the presidential palace. For those of you who do not understand what a letter of credence means and what it means for Ibrahim Traoré and Burkina Faso, we will explain. A letter of credence is a letter of introduction that shows the diplomat is trustworthy and has the support of their government. This letter is given to the government of the country where the diplomat is going to work. So, essentially, a country that gives a letter of credence to another country is saying we accept you and we want to work with you. And translating that to President Traoré of Burkina Faso, it means that these countries, despite the fact that Traoré is running a military government and assumed power through a coup, are now willing to work with Traoré on diplomatic basis. The letters of credence were given by ambassadors of each of the 10 countries in a ceremony held at Ouagadougou, the capital of Burkina Faso. The ceremony marked a demonstration of Burkina Faso's growing diplomatic influence, despite the ongoing security crisis. The ceremony began with a formal reception at the presidential palace where each country's representative was greeted with the traditional Burkinabe hospitality. The newly accredited ambassadors met with President Traoré individually and emphasized the importance of bilateral relations between Burkina Faso and the other countries. In his speech, President Traoré expressed his gratitude for the support of the ambassadors' respective countries and reaffirmed Burkina Faso's commitment to fostering strong bilateral relations. He acknowledged the challenges posed by the security situation, but stressed that these obstacles would not deter the country's diplomatic efforts. The presentation of credentials by these 10 countries is not only a diplomatic formality, but also a reflection of the mutual respect and shared objectives between Burkina Faso and its international partners. President Traoré also stressed the need for continued cooperation and support to address the country's challenges and work towards a better future for Burkina Faso and its people. The presence of these new ambassadors brings renewed hope for enhanced cooperation and a more prosperous future for the nation. Now, the interesting thing in all of this is that out of the 10 countries that granted letters of credence to Burkina Faso, several of them are from the West. In fact, it would shock you to know that Germany, the United States, and Canada are among the 10 countries. Others include Bolivia, Spain, Pakistan, Algeria, Poland, Rwanda, and the Republic of Guinea-Bissau. We can understand why Algeria, Rwanda, and Guinea-Bissau would give letters of credence to Burkina Faso. We can even understand Germany doing the same because, if you recall, in March of this year, the Minister of Germany for Economic Cooperation and Development, Svenja Schulze, paid a diplomatic visit to Burkina Faso. That was her first visit to Burkina Faso after Germany suspended relations with Burkina Faso after the coup. The reason for her visit was to express interest in resuming diplomatic relations with Burkina Faso, which is not surprising because Germany began to understand that it had a lot to lose, while Burkina Faso would not lose anything if it continued to suspend diplomatic relations with the country. And guess what? When she was asked why Germany changed its mind and decided to partner with Burkina Faso after giving an ultimatum earlier on, she said something interesting. The German foreign minister stated that Germany would prefer to work with democracies around the world, but the government of Germany has come to the realization that most people live in an autocratic system and there is nothing they can do about it, so they have to deal with it. So from this, it's very clear that Germany wants to partner with Burkina Faso, and granting this letter of credence is a step in that direction. However, the United States giving a letter of credence to Ibrahim Traoré is very shocking. This is because the United States prides itself as a strong supporter of democracy that will not have anything to do with a military government, which to them is like the greatest sin any country can commit. If you recall, after Ibrahim Traoré took over in 2022, the United States, together with the European Union and some other Western countries, were among those that slapped Traoré's administration and Burkina Faso with sanctions. It's also our belief that together with France, the US was responsible for pushing the narrative in the media that just because Traoré came through a coup, he is automatically a dictator and an authoritative leader who is not competent enough to lead Burkina Faso. But now, this same United States has sent its ambassador to give a letter of credence to Burkina Faso, and it makes us wonder why the change of heart and if the US has an ulterior motive. Well, only time will tell. Nevertheless, this is great news for Ibrahim Traoré and the citizens of Burkina Faso. This victory for Burkina Faso confirms again that truly, Ibrahim Traoré is a perfect example of a leader who stands for what he believes in, regardless of the consequences. And he is also a lesson to other African leaders who willingly become puppets of the West because of the pressure, that if a leader stands for what he believes long enough, the West will have no choice but to work with him. Do you know why? It's because the West needs Africa. Africa is too important for any country not to have relations with. Why else do you think every country, including non-Western countries such as Russia, China, Turkey, and even recently South Korea, is pushing hard to deepen relations with African countries? Africa has both the human and mineral resources that the world needs, and some leaders, including Ibrahim Traoré, understand this. That is why they place their sovereignty above everything. It is quite unfortunate that most African leaders prefer to break under the pressure of the West and allow themselves to be treated as puppets in the interest of the West. But leaders like the military juntas of the Sahel, who have been called sophisticated by the US military, give the continent hope that things will be better with time. Now, as awesome as this news is, no Western media has published this news. We did a lot of research and observed that only a few media houses, which are mainly from Africa, and the local Burkinabe TV station carried this news. The question is why? Well, we can't understand their reason, but what is very clear to us now is that Western media loves to publish negative news about African countries. The purpose of this is to paint a narrative that Africa is dependent, needs help, and can only manage to survive with help from the West. When it comes to relations between African countries and the West, the media loves to paint the West as the superior being capable of helping Africa. This is wrong. We have observed that it's only when there is news of a coup, an attempt to assassinate Traoré, or attacks from insurgents that killed lots of people, that's when these Western media houses publish stuff about President Traoré. It's like they are eagerly waiting to hear that Traoré has been removed from power, but thankfully so far, nothing of such has occurred. Never have we heard the BBC and the others talk about the gold refinery that is being built, the tomato factory that is under construction, or the security measures that are being put in place. Shame on them. Honestly, it's high time all Western media is banned from Africa, and we are so happy that Captain Traoré has taken a similar step by suspending French media houses from reporting anything happening in the country. The West can call it whatever they like, such as suppression of freedom of speech and dissenting views or whatever they like. But it doesn't matter. If they cannot be fair, truthful, and just in their reporting, then there is no point. It's the same thing Western media complain about in Rwanda. According to them, President Paul Kagame is a dictator and he suppresses dissenting voices. But if that is what is working in the country, who are you to judge? What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video.